Dragon Ball Endtime. Oh, actually, the first slide is, mind you, I haven't practiced this, so I'm totally winging it. So if I lose my place a little bit, just bear with me, please. I just want to say thank you to Kamehacon. I don't know if anyone here is a volunteer or works with them, but these guys have been awesome. I reached out to, well, actually, they reached out to me initially. We were kind of discussing things last minute, and this was like a rush to put this together. So I'm very thankful for the convention for even allowing the opportunity for me to present this here. Because of them, I had chosen to have the first chapter released on Friday, just because it's the first day of the convention, and I mean, this is the Dragon Ball convention. I mean, all of you guys here are the biggest of the biggest fans, you know. I thought about doing Anime Expo, but come on, let's be real. This is a Dragon Ball story, and this is where it needed to be. So, on that note, who is Xandar? I am Xandar. That's the stage name I go by. I'll get into it a little bit, but I actually work in the film industry. I'm a film director. Haven't done anything super crazy, no Marvel films yet. But I've done some direct to DVD films and a few shorts that can be watched online, and that's kind of where my history extends. So these handsome fellas up here, the little tiny one is a picture of a little boy that I stole when I moved to the United States, because I looked not very attractive. So I was like, this kid looks cute. This was me when I was a kid. So I pulled that one, and then the one next to it is Harry Potter. This is one of the kids that didn't get cast for Harry Potter, so I figured I'd take his photo and use it as that. And then the other one over there is actually me. No, it's just a funny story. I have a cousin in Germany, and she had received my school photos from when I was a kid, the middle ones. And a bunch of the students in her school stole it because they actually thought it was Harry Potter. So they took all the pictures. She was like, "What happened? This isn't Harry Potter. This is my cousin." So that was good times. Good times. Yeah. That was after that I decided to actually watch the movie. So I wanted to see what the hype was about. So then, the evolution of Xander. What is the next evolution? I am very strongly convinced that I'm eventually going to become Frieza. if not through surgical means, then by sheer willpower. Look at that. That smile is like right on point. It is. It's Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be Frieza, and my parents thought I needed therapy.
Did you get it?
No, I didn't get therapy. That's. Yes, I still want to be Frieza. Not the genocidal maniac part, but just the cool, calm, badass. I have this like.
Have you practiced like this monkey and stuff?
Hey, let me work the voice very loosely here and there. I know gold is a bit gauche, but I wanted to ensure that you understood my position on top of the pecking order. I can't do Linda's voice though. That's a feat.
It's not bad.
Thank you.
It's pretty good.
I stare at myself in the mirror, convince myself I'm Frieza, and then I go from there.
I am.
All right, so where did I start? So when I was actually about 10 or 12 years old, I worked on these little Sprite comics. First chance I had of getting my hands on a computer, I discovered these LSW, so it's Legendary Super Warriors, this old, what is it, Game Boy game, I think? And I just created original characters over the Dragon Ball characters and just put these little comics together. And it didn't really go anywhere. It was just something fun that a bunch of us did in our little community. But that was my introduction to, wow, this is awesome. I want to make Dragon Ball content. Like, this is so cool. Now, I'm not part of that community anymore. I think I want to say I dropped out somewhere when I was 15, 16. I started studying film. But that community is still alive, and they do so much better work than I did when I was 12. This is something from the recent stuff. This is from 2019. You can find this stuff on DeviantArt. I don't actually know 100% who the artist is, but they still do comics that use these sprite animations, and it's still very much alive. And I mean, you guys love Dragon Ball. They could use the support, so the more stuff you guys read, I'm sure the more stuff they'll put out. So all you have to do is just search LSW Sprite Comics, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton of stuff that comes up. So the next part is in my early days when I started first getting into film. I loved anime so much that I wanted to like make live action anime, and boy do I regret it. But I made some of my first films, Shouten, Farewell Calm Days, and Forgotten Calm Days. I think some of that stuff is still on YouTube if it hasn't been taken down. But that's kind of my first intro. It was very heavily inspired by Dragon Ball and Naruto and Bleach. I played a character in there who carries around a sword and he never uses it. At the beginning of every fight, it was actually a gag, I didn't realize it. A bunch of the guys that I worked with, they were like, why does your character put the sword down at the beginning of every fight? Why do you even have that? So, yeah, no, that didn't work out.
I think it's badass. Like, I don't need a sword.
There's this
I don't need a son of a bitch.
There was this whole mock quote where it's like, against you, I'm not even going to need this. And I set it down. It's like literally every single fight right before it starts. It was terrible, honestly. It was really bad. But it was nostalgic, and it allowed me to create Dragon Ball without making Dragon Ball. It was kind of a unique spin to it. After that, I got more involved in film. These are some of the shorter feature films that I've worked on. Beyond the Call to Duty is not what you think. It was a marketing ploy by the distribution company. The film was not supposed to be by any means anything Call of Duty related, but they saw an opportunity to market it that way. And unfortunately, once the film was done, it was out of my hands. So the actual final product, I'm not proud of. I wouldn't watch it. It's an hour and a half. I'll never get back. But that was my first time making a feature film, which was super exciting. So that kind of opened the doors to the film community for me. I've always hoped one day I would have an opportunity to make a live-action Dragon Ball film, and then 2009 happened.
Oh no! Oh no! We don't talk about that.
No.
We don't talk about that.
I will show you. I'll show you.
No, please.
We don't talk about that.
Please. Oh, God.
The one movie that shall not be
The only good thing about that movie, it pissed Toriyama off enough to come back into Dragon
I
Ball.
was actually just about to say that this is a blessing in disguise, because if it wasn't for this movie, and I don't know how many of you guys know this, there would be no Battle of Gods. There would be no Resurrection of Frieza. There would be no more Dragon Ball. So this film upset Akira Toriyama so much that he said it's time to come back. It's time to bring back Dragon Ball.
It's time to take my throne back.
It's abomination.
It's time to take back my throne.
Exactly.
Here's a good live-action film, Light of Hope by Robot Underdog.
I've been seeing a lot of. I was actually talking before we get started. There's a lot of really good live-action Dragon Ball films on YouTube. Like the fans have made that's really amazing. Ones like Saiyan Saga, The Last Hope, which focuses on the androids of the future. So if you guys haven't seen that, oh my god, it is insanely good. And these guys did it completely independently.
I'm kind of scared.
Fans always will do better.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Better than Fox did, absolutely. I decided not to actually put a troll face over Choyun Fett because I've got a lot of respect for him as an actor. I think he just got dragged into it, thinking it was going to be something good, and I think he could have made a really great Roshi if they had better directors and better creative artists and actually.
Yeah, I never blamed Cass.
Could have shaved his head and gave him a beard and made him look more like him.
They just gave him the shirt and they're like, yeah, you're
He's like Jackie Chan there or something. You know?
Right.
He's
So, but that kind of, didn't really kill my passion for Dragon Ball for a little while, and I'm sure all of us knew. But then, when 2013 hit, and they released Battle of Gods, and I don't know how many of you guys got a chance to see it in the theater, but oh my god, that was
amazing.
Everything about my childhood was like,
I watched it.
Man,
came out full blown.
I love Vegeta's line. He's like, oh, of course Kakarot gets Super Saiyan God, but for once, I'm glad it's
Yeah, he's like,
not
I'm
me."
glad it's not me.
Then later on, he achieved that on his own without help.
Yeah.
Which is insane, right? Vegeta's pure talent, and I mean, he's a prodigy. He literally attained Super Saiyan God without the ritual. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want it.
Right, I just want it bad enough. Oh yeah, Ridge, right?
Push up, sit up, plenty.
But it's crazy, honestly, and I think part of why Dragon Ball has been so important to me is when I originally moved to the US, it was like the first thing I ever watched. I remember the first episode. I'm sure you guys remember your first episode. Mine was when Vegeta blasted a hole through Zarbon and killed him, and that was the Ocean dub, actually. I don't know how many fans of the Ocean dub are here. There's a bunch of voice actors that are here, they're awesome. But that was my first exposure to Dragon Ball, and I saw Zarbon
The
get
quote,
mutilated.
abridged Vegeta.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard that one already.
Yeah.
Let me put this in a whale instead. I'm about to blow my load.
Your insights.
No.
My
Freaky alien.
the first thing I saw was
Too good.
the Ocean dub Goku versus Vegeta, and it
They're
was
really good.
yeah no I
Yeah.
caught in the middle of it is when they're doing the two beams and they're colliding together. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I don't know what this is.
It's so good.
I
It's
don't know
so
what it
good.
is, but I love it.
There's a love for it, and I slowly started learning English because of Dragon Ball. I started falling in love with these characters so much. When I was going through school, I was actually bullied a lot for not knowing how to speak the language and having an accent and all this crazy stuff. And Dragon Ball was kind of like my way out during all of that. So I always tell people, I don't know what would have happened if I didn't discover Dragon Ball in my life, because I don't know where I would have gone in my life if I didn't find that. Being as righteous as Goku and being as courageous as Vegeta Vegeta and being as messed up as Frieza. Deep down inside, that's kind of like really kept me going. So
He was born to be a prick.
He was, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you brought me as perfect as Cell.
Right. Oh yes, as perfect as Cell as well. And maybe not that perfect.
Yeah, I killed my kid.
Yeah, who's much less than perfect now. So, but you know, my love for Dragon Ball kept me going. I've always wanted to do something in Dragon Ball, which kind of brought me back around to Dragon Ball Endtime. I've been developing Endtime since about, I want to say after the Resurrection of Frieza came out, but I never had the opportunity to really do anything with it. I suck at drawing, I'm terrible with my hands. And I used to be really good, and I kind of fallen out of practice, but it's so time consuming, and I never really could get myself to really focus on it and do it. And then 2019 came around, I started playing around with the game Xenoverse 2. Oh, what is Dragon Ball? We'll skip that. I'll come back to that. But I started playing around with this game, Xenoverse 2. I don't know if you guys have probably played Xenoverse 2, at least know of it. So there's an online community for the PC version where they're able to literally, I mean, there's thousands of characters custom made that this community has put together, and I started chatting with some of them. I started playing around with the mods. I started playing around with the image capture mode, and the first thing I put together of Dragon Ball Endtime was terrible. But then I kept playing around with it more and more and more, and it's eventually kind of just started taking shape and turned into something. And I thought, I think I want to do Dragon Ball Endtime. I think it really needs to be done. It needs to be done like this. So I spoke with the community. I have a lot of really great people that are part of the community. They're all overseas too. Like they're in Italy, they're in Spain, and we kind of sat down together and we said, okay, let's see what we can do with this. Let's see if we can really make something with this. So the images on the end over there are ones that were just captured directly from the game. It's all custom techniques, custom look, custom everything. It uses the Xenoverse 2 engine as a base, but ultimately all the characters, all the designs, everything that's in it is not anything that Bandai has even put out. So it's completely custom made from scratch. So this is kind of one of the prime examples. This is what Android 21 looks like in-game. And then this is what she looks like with the cell shading and all the custom designs over it. So it looks a lot more like Dragon Ball Fighters. That's what I really wanted. I wanted cell shading. I don't want this to look like a 3D look, you know, comic. It looked weird. I did a few of them like that, and I thought, nah, you know what? I think I'm gonna just drop this all together. And then he goes by Demon Boy online, put this cell shading together where every character in Xenoverse has a complete cell shaded look, and that kind of reinvented my
Somebody
there.
did that crossplay.
What's that?
Someone did that crossplay yesterday.
What's that?
The crossplay hurt.
Oh yes, well, I know, I saw that. Yeah, the cosplay is awesome.
I think I was the cosplayer yesterday.
Were you? Oh yes, you were. Oh my god. Android 21.
You know?
Yes, dude. Sorry, I ran across so many people yesterday.
I couldn't find any other Android 21s because I'm like, maybe I'm just the only one or something.
She's pretty popular for character. I actually kind of want to incorporate her, but I don't know that I really want to touch her as a character just yet because I really wouldn't know what to do with her in the comic. But she's awesome. She's actually become quickly one of my favorite characters in the series.
She's OP, but underutilized.
Yeah, very underutilized. They could do so much with her, I think. And this whole idea of her being Dr. Rose's wife, I think it was. I don't know that
She
I'll
can Majin Buu cell friggin' manual.
Right, yeah. Super cool. But anyway, so that's kind of where the comic came from. So when does Dragon Ball Endtime take place? Dragon Ball Endtime takes place after End of Z. My kind of goal for this is to continue a storyline from Z that wasn't GT, that didn't incorporate what GT was and everything that it had. So I thought, you know, there's all this stuff in Dragon Ball Super. They're gonna keep developing stuff in Dragon Ball Super, but nothing is going on after End of Z. And I think if the manga for Dragon Ball Super is still kind of doing its thing, it's still taking place before. I don't know how many of you guys have read it. They reintroduced Oob, which is awesome. So apparently it's God Key now, which is wild. Again, spoiler alert. But if you guys haven't been reading the Dragon Ball Super manga, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. Not the greatest thing in the world, but it's awesome. It's a continuation of the story from the Tournament of Power. There's some really good stuff in it. So yeah, after End of Z. So it takes about 1 year after End of Z, so a lot of the characters have grown up. Is anyone else thrown off by the fact that Goten and Trunks literally look the same age?
Yes.
In Dragon Ball Super? It's been like 3 or 4 years, like they look exactly the same.
Here's the most logical conclusion. Toei just doesn't give a shit about them.
Right, yeah, that's
No,
true.
they forgot again like launch.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I haven't even incorporated Goten and Trunks in battle. Like that would have been great. Tournament power is 48 minutes. Just let them fight for a little while.
I mean,
And
they're
have
probably
them
scared to
finish
use
it.
the next generation because of Boruto.
Yeah, I haven't watched Boruto.
I mean, we got Trunks. I mean, we got future Trunks.
So, which canon does Dragon Ball Endtime follow? Now, I just want to clear it up. Dragon Ball Endtime is not canon. It is by no means canon to the original franchise or anything of the sort. This is completely a passion project on my end. I am kind of hoping to maybe sit down with Bandai, get an endorsement, and hopefully the comic doesn't suck so bad that they don't want it. But I'm really hoping that Bandai kind of jumps on board, especially since the Xenoverse 2 game is what's used as a platform for creating this. But this comic follows the Dragon Ball Z and the Dragon Ball Super manga canon. So, if for those of you that do read the Dragon Ball Super manga, there are significant differences. One of them being that Master Roshi actually can use a pseudo version of Ultra Instinct. Whoa. It's not Ultra Instinct, but it's very close. He actually has a brawl with Jiren, and he doesn't do half bad in the manga. So, Kale in the Dragon Ball Super manga is ridiculously powerful. She took out several universes on her own, so she is Brawly level power, to the point where she just went from being who she was in base form and literally within minutes. There's a scene in there that I love. Vado says if they don't check Kale, if they don't settle her down, that the Tournament of Power would be the least of their worry, which really gives weight to just how powerful Kale and Brawly are as characters. And I'm hoping to kind of explore them a little bit more.
Broly and Kale teaming up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that'd be wild. That'd be crazy.
I mean, Kale was created by Toei just to capitalize on all his popularity.
Right. But then,
Unless
so
people have a death wish.
the Dragon Ball Z filler, the Dragon Ball Super anime, and of course Dragon Ball GT are considered non-canon. So there are some elements from Dragon Ball the Super the anime that are really cool, but I had to choose one over the other, and I really liked what they did in the manga, so I decided to go with that.
Manga's always better.
So Moro was a thing, the Galactic Prison was a thing. There's a lot of differences that occurred. That there's some similarities. So like this little scene in the manga with Zeno, this was after he erased the future Trunks timeline, and Goku came back to grab him to take him into the into their future or into their past technically.
They did Trunks dirty.
Yes, yeah, they took out his whole. It's okay. Now there's two Trunkses somewhere out there.
We don't.
No, we won't.
Hey, at least something mine.
Honestly, yeah. But honestly, and this is what triggers the events of Dragon Ball Endtime. The future moment when Zeno shows up and he erases the entire future. He exerts so much power, so much energy, that all that power has to go somewhere. Because you can't, what do they always say? You can't destroy energy, you can only convert it into something
Before
else.
creation comes destruction.
That too. So, after the destruction of that future universe, an evil entity begins to form out of the destructive energy that Zeno unleashed to destroy the entire future timeline. So you can imagine, whatever's made out of that energy is going to be powerful. Very effing powerful. Are there kids in here? I don't want to swear. So, that's where Dragon Ball Endtime begins. So, Goku's gone. I'm sure you guys have seen on the flyers. Goku's gone. Why is he gone? Because he takes all the glory all the time. He always wins even when he loses. It doesn't make any sense.
Huh?
when Goku robbed Vegeta's victory from Frieza?
Okay, to be fair,
and that wasn't the
he
only
didn't
time.
do that. Frieza would have killed everybody
There's
again.
That was a stupid move. One time to give Vegeta a win, you should have went with that. I mean, who has more beef with Frieza than Vegeta?
Exactly. A lot
That
of
was
this
some
stuff-
personal. That was personal right there.
And there's a lot of word out there going around about how Kira just doesn't really like Vegeta and like this stuff. But ultimately, let's face it, if you look at any anime, Ichigo always comes up on top in Bleach, right?
No,
Naruto
Vegeta-
comes up on top in Naruto.
Vegeta's about to take on a new form too. I've heard Vegeta's about to take on a new form.
Yes, he is in the manga training in the art of destruction. And, I have not incorporated that yet because I have no idea where they're going with it. So I'm trying to
Vegeta's
decide
going to
about
the
that.
next
Yeah.
about destruction.
Yes.
Goku's gonna be
I don't know,
the
man. That's gonna be wild.
Yeah.
But, Goku's always been the guy to win. These are actually shots from the prologue, by the way, from Dragon Ball Endtime. So Goku's always the one who's there. He's always the one to win. And I think it's time that he stops winning. So what happens after the end of Z? Goku takes off with Oob. And in GT, we see that they're training in a hyperbolic time chamber. GT is not going to be canon for my storyline. So he's actually not going to be training with Oob there. He's going to be training with Oob somewhere, but we have no idea where he is.
Like kind of Luke Skywalker kind of thing.
He kind of disappears off the face of the earth, and when this new threat is met, they have no way of getting in touch with him. They have no idea where he is. So the whole idea of like, where is Goku? Where is Goku?
Like they went the
It's
route
time
of
for the Z-Warriors to
dying,
fend
yeah.
for themselves, which will give an opportunity for Vegeta and even Frieza and some of the Z-Warriors to have an opportunity to shine.
So Frieza's a good guy now?
No, absolutely not. Frieza's always out for his own interest. Absolutely. But
It's
there
only
is-
ever out of mutual benefit.
Yes, if you beat somebody else, exactly. Yeah. So when you really consider it, if Frieza and his empire feel threatened, then he'll do what it needs to be done to preserve his empire, even if that means working together with the Z-Warriors, as we've seen in this Tournament of Power. So no, by no means is Frieza a good guy. He is a diabolical, evil, sinning,
Backstabbing.
backstabbing. I don't know why I wanted to be this guy when I was a kid. It was weird. I'm really thinking about it.
I get the backstabbing.
Honestly, when you're an adult, you just really understand the
Sure,
book.
he wanted to grow
That's
5
true.
inches.
Why didn't you just wish for it to tell
How
me
can
you always
you do
wanted
this,
to?
right?
Dude,
I
no,
didn't even
who I
do that.
wanted to be when I
Even
was a
then,
kid
you wouldn't be
was
taller, would
TN.
you?
It's very devious.
Actually, I do go into exploring T in a little bit. I even give Yamcha a little bit of
He is a devious.
Yamcha got Yamcha.
Absolutely, yeah.
Watching the
So,
Yamcha again?
the characters that are going to be featured ultimately are going to be the entire collective of the Dragon Ball characters from Super, from everyone that you've seen kind of growing up. So 17, 18, all those characters are going to be in it. Little Pan, since this does take place a year after End of Z, Little Pan is going to be involved. You guys have seen Dragon Ball Super. I mean, as a little baby, she's already flying around through outer space and doing all this crazy stuff. At the end of Z, there's this cool little shot where her and Goten are fighting, and she just slaps him across the face. So I'm running with the idea that Pan is probably very, very powerful. Not what GT did to her, but what she actually could have become. So Pan will be involved, and she will have a
Well, I
pretty
mean,
decent.
of course, I mean, when your dad's literally mystic and your grandfather's literally the savior of the universe. I mean,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
found
You think you'd be a little bit more than just a helpless little kid trying to collect.
Dragon Ball.
And it,
Where's
that's
Bulma
another thing
at?
with GT. They did it again, right? The Goku always saved the day. They had all the Shadow Dragons. I mean, they could have teamed up with the other Z Warriors to fight the Shadow Dragons. Some of them were so weak that Yamcha probably could have.
Dang. No, how did Yamcha take a bus like that?
As much as we shit talk Yamcha, if he actually came out of that panel, we wouldn't shit talk to his face. He can still kick all of our ass.
He'd probably break every person in this room without even trying.
Yeah, where's this wolf-faced fist?
You're right, yeah.
Where's
So then,
Bull at?
These ones too, so there are some redesigns which is super cool. So Universe 6 will be involved in the storyline. Kaba is wearing Vegeta's armor from Dragon Ball Super, so he kind of has that utmost respect for him. I imagine that at some point or another, when there is some downtime, Vegeta would go to Universe 6, sit down with him, train him, meet King Sadala, and so on and so forth. Khalifa, I really liked her design, I wanted to keep it. But I worked with a gentleman who did a whole redesign for Kale that I really, really loved. So she's going to be involved. Not really sure what I'm going to do about her explosive power. It's going to have to stay in check for a little while, but she is going to be involved. There's going to be some cool stuff I'm going to do with her, and eventually Brawly. I have no idea how I'm going to reintroduce Brawly. That's a huge feat, but he will be introduced.
Do you think you're going to use the new Super version of Broly or the original Broly?
No, the Super, yeah. So the Dragon Ball. Oh, I didn't put that in there. The Dragon Ball fins are considered non-canon too. I was actually saying before this whole thing started, I absolutely love Cooler. And if I could have it my way, I would love to do a whole revamp on Cooler's storyline, just like they did with Broly, and reintroduce him into the franchise as same thing, Frieza's brother. But who knows what's happened to him? Maybe he's been in hell all this time because Frieza killed him, God knows when. Or maybe he's been out there somewhere. He just doesn't really get involved like Frieza does. He just doesn't want to be an emperor. He's just out there. He's so powerful.
I mean, my best bet is like Frieza just pulled some strings and just like he knows he can't beat Cooler, but say he pretty much did something behind his back just to make Cooler look bad, and Cole just cast him aside. Like, okay, you're no good. Frieza's next in line.
Away. I mean, there's so many things that can be done. You were gonna say something.
Y'all gonna tone Kaiser up a little bit more?
Do what now?
You wanna tone him up a little bit more?
Yeah. There's gonna be some characters. Yeah. So, I mean, Kaba's always been scrawny when he was introduced, but yeah.
Do you think you'll do like some kind of like new fusions or something between characters?
I actually don't like fusions. I'm a pro at fusions. I mean, at some point or another, I think Goku and Vegeta maybe. I'm sorry, not Goku and Vegeta, but Goten and Trunks maybe might fuse because I think it'd be cool to see them fuse as adults. But I think fusion is used way too often as a cop out to defeat powerful warriors, and I'm glad they didn't do it with Moro. The whole idea of like him just being able to diffuse fusions was brilliant. I think to prevent them from just using fusion as a cop out again. Yeah, it happens all the time though. It's so bad. It's like, oh, let's just fuse, and they never beat the character too. They fuse, they fight for a little while, and then they get cocky, and they still lose. They still diffuse, and nothing happens.
Get stronger by yourself
Terrible,
and
exactly.
fuse.
So no fusions in the foreseen future, but maybe. Like I said, Goten and Trunks is something I want to explore, and then we'll kind of go see from there. Maybe even Tien and Yamcha, not that bald-headed version from Budokai 2, but like I want to actually do a really badass Tiensha design. I think that would be super cool. But everything's up in the air for now on that. And then, of course, other characters that we introduce are original characters. The character over on the end, her name is Faye. She's introduced in the second chapter. I don't want to talk too much about her and what she is because there might be some spoiler alerts. The other character over here was actually designed by a colleague of mine that works in that industry. Her name is Elena. She's an internal being that exists within Faye, and she gets introduced a little bit later in the storyline. The character in the middle, Captain Tamago, is Frieza's new commander-in-chief. He's sort of replaced Captain Ginyu, so not too much is known about this character, but he's become Frieza's new right-hand man. So those guys will be introduced, and there'll be a little bit more with them. And then, of course, Vegeta, Frieza, and Beerus are going to be the characters that I actually plan on following throughout the storyline. So Vegeta, Frieza, and Beerus are going to be the main characters moving forward, at least until at some point the inevitable happens and Goku does return. So, again, all the other Z Warriors will get their time to shine, but I really wanted to give everyone opportunity. I wanted Vegeta to really have a chance to show what he's worth and not get discarded and off to the side.
I have another question.
I will have a Q&A at the end.
Okay.
I don't want to run out of time.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I like this because you guys get involved and then it kind of helps me come up with some stuff that I forget to talk about. So, villains. The actual creature that is created from Senno destroying the future will not be introduced for a hot minute. They're going to be in there here and there, but it's going to be very luminous, kind of ominous character that's going to be settled in the background. The canon of Dragon Ball has never actually introduced the demons outside of Deborah. So what I really wanted to do is I wanted to explore the opportunity to have the demons be a real threat. In the Dragon Ball Super manga, I can't pronounce her name, Margarita, the angel from Universal 11, tells Belmont that angels can't bring back to life people who've been killed by a demon. Only the Dragon Balls can do it, and maybe the Dragon Balls might not really be a factor, so we'll see. But I wanted death to have a meaning in Dragon Ball again. So when you get killed by a demon, no angel's going to help you.
Dang.
Nobody's going to bring you back. So death is going to be a very real thing in Dragon Ball Endtime.
Where's Mira?
Given the title, right? I mean, that'd be a little bit. Let's kill Yamcha and bring him back again. But why?
Comic relief.
Right.
Where's Mira at?
This is fun to be around. But yeah, so Mechikabura, I don't know if some of you guys are aware of Dragon Ball Heroes. Mechikabura is a core person who, it's almost like a fallen angel kind of situation where he's been banished from the Kaioshin. Well, he kind of went a dark route. Him and the Supreme Kai of Time, which I don't know that I'll actually introduce here in the story at all, they were both going to become the next Supreme Kai of Time. He kind of fell out of it. Not to get too much into it, but they had this, it was almost like a Harry Potter-esque challenge. They were given this bird and they had to like feed it positive energy, negative energy, and he just went down full evil. In this storyline, he will have been absent for a very long time, which is why he's old as hell. But not to be underestimated. Mechikabura is, in this storyline, one of the most powerful beings in all of Entity, even to the point where the angels want nothing to do with him. They don't want to touch him. As long as he keeps to his realm and doesn't touch the mortal realm, they leave him alone. But when Dragon Ball Endtime kicks off, the angels take a step back. When the creature is introduced and this being is introduced, the angels take a step back and say, look, we can't help. Regardless of what it is, we have to preserve our own. We have to stay back. Gods of destruction can be involved because the gods of destructions were at some point mortal, but the angels take a step back. So there's no help from the angels. There's not going to be mirrors to save people.
Being useless again.
Yes. So eventually, when the demons do come out, and mind you, Deborah. So the interesting thing is, and this is the lore thing, Deborah actually, when he was taken over by Babidi, became weaker because he sealed his energy in order to prevent Babidi from fully taking advantage of him. So Deborah is back,
Yeah.
and we'll find out how. But Deborah is back, and he is menacing. He's very powerful. If you guys have read the first part of chapter 1, he's already reintroduced, and there's a little back and forth between him and Chikabara and Gohan about, oh, you know this guy, you know this guy. Hardly. I don't know.
We fought once.
Right, and then the guy at the very end, I think over here, yeah, right there, that's Demigra. There's a lot of factions within the demon realm, so the demons are not really necessarily going to be friends to each other either. So there's a faction. Michikabra is always the one on top. Deborah's got his own plans, and then Demigra also has his own plans. They all kind of have the same goal at the end of the day, but they all want to go about it a different way. They all want different things. So there's going to be some development with them, and there's going to be, which doesn't happen in Dragon Ball often, and I wanted to, some real solid behind-the-scenes development with the villains. In Bleach, in Naruto, at Akatsuki, you get a really solid opportunity to get to see them interacting with each other and grow together. In Bleach, you have the Arankar, the Sabada. So I wanted Dragon Ball to have an opportunity to really dive into the villain portion of it. You know, some of them are not evil, to say, these guys are pretty evil, but some of them are not evil. They just have different intentions and different goals.
What did Mira?
And then the evolution of Dragon Ball's Endtime. So I'll kind of whiz through this. I've been working on Dragon Ball Endtime since the end of 2019. Originally, it looked like this, very 3D, very graphic, and then after all the work that we've done on it, it looks a little bit more cell-shaded. Obviously, some of the stuff has kind of stayed with the background still being 3D. The effects are a little bit more amplified. You can kind of see more of the details inside the Spirit Bomb. There's that little black line around them that kind of helps them feel more defined. And as I said, it is cell-shaded now, so it looks more like Dragon Ball Fighters than it does Universe. These are the early renditions of the comic. They are terrible. I think the one all the way at the end, I didn't want to do a full-fledged comic because I was being lazy. And then I decided, okay, no, it doesn't need to look like a comic, but even that was a little blocky and choppy, and again, the graphics were not that great. And then today, this is actually, this part hasn't dropped yet, so you guys get a little spoiler in advance. This is the angels gathering together after the Transcendence, which is the creature from the future that was created by Zeno by accident. They find out word that this thing is real, this thing is alive, and this is them gathering together to discuss what the fate of the universe will be and if they will choose to become involved or not. So this is what the comic actually looks like now. It reads just like a manga, which I don't know why I did the pages in the opposite end. I should have put the other one over here. But it does read like a manga, so you have to read it the same way. It doesn't read like a Western comic. I wanted to stay true to Dragon Ball Z. Originally I did it as a Western comic where you read it from right to left. But then when I recreated it with the cell shading and everything, I decided to do it the other way around. This mostly, and I'll open it up to questions, but follow us on social media. This is an independent project, so I am solely the one funding all of this. You can go on Dragon Ball Untold, DragonBallUntold.com. What I really want to do at the end of the day is I want Dragon Ball Endtime to be an opportunity for more Dragon Ball stories to be put out there. DragonBallUntold.com will eventually just feature tons of Dragon Ball stories that, even if you guys have comics, if you guys have fan fictions, I'd love for an opportunity to collaborate on that and life, and then feature it on Dragon Ball Untold. And then shameless plug here, because I am funding this all on my own. So anyone who's interested in supporting on Patreon, there's a bunch of prizes that are going to be involved. Early access, there's going to be additional content. Every month I'm planning on putting out a battle. So it's going to be same thing, Xenoverse style. And it's going to be a battle between two characters that people vote on. So it could be like Tien versus Yamcha from Endtime. It could be Android 17 versus 18. It could be Frieza versus Cooler. It could be Z Brawly versus Super Brawly. And whichever one gets the most votes will be created as exclusive content for Patreon only. And then the hierarchy about the behind the scenes. I'll probably be doing live work too, where you guys actually get to see me live working on the comics, so you get to actually walk through with me. Have the conversation, maybe pitch in your 2 cents, so that we can kind of see how this comic is put together. And then who knows, I mean, some of you guys are out there that are creatives. I'm 100% open to collaboration. I want to do extension stories that branch off from Endtime, and then even if some people want to get involved in Endtime, it's an ever-developing story. I have no intentions of stopping anytime soon. I've got tons of storylines that I want to tell that go even beyond the demon realm. And then Q&A. All right. Does anyone have any yes?
So since you're planning on continuing your story for quite some time, do
Yes.
you eventually see Bra joining the cast as well?
It's only 1 year after Z. It's going to be a little bit difficult. If I do a time skip at some point, I absolutely would like to, and I think Bra as well was extremely dismissed in GT. I didn't like what they did with her. She's still the daughter of Vegeta. She should have been powerful. She should have been, if not more powerful than Pan, just because I like Vegeta better. Yes.
Will Mira take a part of this as well?
Miras will not be involved.
Mira.
Mira. No, actually, I don't think I'm going to incorporate Mira. At some point down the road in the future, if I have room for him, but I want to kind of stay away. I don't want to have a repeat of the Android saga where they're just creating like artificial beings. I know Mira's very, and maybe I can incorporate him if I figure out how. But again, I'm not following the Heroes canon either, so all of these characters will have completely new origins, just like Broly did in Dragon Ball Super. So I have no intentions of using Mira, but maybe. Unpopular demand. It's
my question is, you said like the angels won't be able to bring back people and stuff.
yeah, if they're killed by a demon, they can't resurrect.
Yeah. So I was wondering, like, are there new rules to the Dragon Balls in this world? Like, is it gonna be more difficult to find them, or like the demon's gonna do something with the Dragon Balls, like to hide them away? Like, cause like those are pretty powerful.
I don't want to reveal too much, but the demons have been in hiding for literally hundreds of thousands of years, possibly millions of years. They've been planning this, so you bet that they know the Dragon Balls are a thing. So they will likely do something about that, but I don't want to say too much. Yes.
Okay, what's the power scale from the demons from the angels? And isn't Deborah supposed to be like the king of the demons or something like that?
Yeah, Deborah was introduced as king of the demon realm, but that is only during the absence of Mechikabura. So Mechikabura is the Dark King, so he has his own empire, he has everything, but along the line of history, his empire has fallen apart. Deborah took over, but then he was taken out in the Buu saga for a little while. So there's going to be, like I said, there's a lot of factions. Deborah is working under Mechikabura just because of who he is and what he is and what his background is and how long he's been around. But Deborah's got his own plans too, and so does Demigra. So Mechikabura is the overlord of the entire demon realm. As far as power scaling, Mechikabura is not really in his prime anymore. So if he was to go toe-to-toe with Whis, that's why I wanted to get rid of the angels. Yeah, I don't know that he would do so well. Yeah. Yes, you had a hand.
So it's like Mechikabura is like the Frieza of the demons, and then everyone else is kind of around or under him and all that.
Yeah, correct. And they don't necessarily feel like they're under him. They have really no choice but to go with his plans. But his plans are their plans, but they all kind of, Deborah wants to rule, Demigirl wants to rule, they all want to rule in their own way, and Mechikabura is just the quickest way for them to get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we gonna see like Beerus fight and get more in action and maybe put his
Oh, yeah.
power level on the scale more
yeah.
to us? You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, with it, I want to say at the beginning of the second volume, so somewhere around chapters 11 or 12, is where Beerus has the fight of his life, and we will get to see him go all out, all of his power. Yeah.
Wow, we get to see an angel
Yeah,
fly.
enough sleeping.
Yes.
He needs to get out there. All the sleeping. Whis is always, eating this.
I'm sorry. Did you have a question?
I didn't have a question. I'm just
add
adding
to it.
to it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just didn't want.
Yeah, it'd be great to see him get out there and fight more. I agree with what he's saying.
Well, with the angels kind of taking a back seat, the gods of destruction are not necessarily being told they can't get involved. So once your life starts to get threatened and you feel like your destruction is kind of looming over, you bet the gods are going to do what they need to do to protect themselves. So they will be getting involved. Yes.
Are any of the other gods going to be heavily involved other than Beerus?
Yes. Actually, Belmont within the first 2 volumes will be heavily involved. Champa will be involved, and then the other gods kind of a little bit more down the road. So I want to say somewhere around the 2nd volume, there's actually going to be a chapter focusing on the history of when Beerus and Belmont met, and how Champa, I'm making it that Champa actually was the first to become a god of destruction, and that kind of set Beerus off. So he's always like treating him and belittling him and like talking smack to him.
Yeah.
And then we kind of find out why is because Champa became the first god of destruction amongst them, but then Beerus, when he became a god of destruction, he just skyrocketed. He became so powerful, and Champa was kind of like, well, maybe I shouldn't have taunted him so much.
It's sibling rivalry.
My way back, yes.
Dragon Ball Super manga spoiler. Are you going to be using any of Vegeta's new powers?
Yeah, there's a few techniques that he has that are really awesome. There's a few of them I want to incorporate. I'm a little hesitant on using any God of Destruction stuff yet, but I think it probably will be included once I have a better idea of where they're going with it.
You should probably wait till current art progresses a little more.
Yeah,
just to be safe.
Yeah, 100%. Because I don't even know if that God form is going to be a transformation like Topo in the anime, for example, with the crystals in his chest. So I don't want to do anything with the God abilities, with the exception of maybe him, what he's doing now, where he just destroys something with his hand. But outside of that, I don't want to play with it too much. Somebody else had their hand up. You had it earlier. Yeah.
So begging our other gods been involved, wouldn't it be cool to see like Beerus and Champa team up?
Yeah, yes, we'll see Champa and Beerus team up together, yeah. And it's going to be devastating. It's going to be devastating. You had your hand up earlier. Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned it earlier. Do you know if you're going to be incorporating the character Tapion from movie Dragon?
I'm trying so hard to stay away from non-canon characters, but I really want to like revamp the story of some of them. So Tapion is one of the ones that's on my list, and I kind of, because Hildegard was a demon technically. He was considered a demon. So I kind of do want to incorporate Hildegard at some point, and it would be kind of weird to incorporate him without Tapion, but that's probably not going to be for a long time. I do have plans for Cooler, I just don't know what to do with him yet. And you had your hand up. Yes.
Will we finally get to see Beerus go all out?
100%. Like 100% of his power. And it's going to be power that none of the other gods were even aware that he had, which is going to be super exciting. So even like Belmont and some of the others that are aware of how dangerous and powerful Beerus is, nobody has seen him at this level besides Whis during their personal training together. So yeah, it's going to be a whole new.
I sense his flashback.
Yeah. Yes.
So my question is, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have this as well. Will we see? So we know that this is taking place at like a few months or a year after Goku takes Oob off to go train. Will we see finally Oob, hopefully, like, and see what he's learned from Goku as he takes the fight to whoever it is?
Yes. When Goku returns, Oob will return with him, and he is going to be probably one of the most dangerous characters in the show. I mean, he is the resurrection of Kid Buu. Yeah, and on top of that, we just found out in the Dragon Ball Super manga that he also has God Ki. Don't know why, but he has it. So yeah, I'm gonna do 3 more questions super quick, just so we can wrap up with the raffle. How much time? 1 minute?
I gotta go.
A little bit over. Okay.
Gotta get going.
I'll tell you what, guys. We're gonna do the raffle super quick. I'll be out and about if you guys want to chat. I do have another panel at 4. If you want to come back for another opportunity to win these, you don't have to stay for the whole speech. It's relatively going to be the same. But if you have more questions and stuff, you can come there and ask at the tail end of it. It's at 4 o'clock in the same room.
Okay.
And like I said, any questions you guys have, feel free to come up. We'll definitely chat.
We'll do. Sure.
All right. So hang on. Let me turn this off. All right. So.
Oh, you want to read the number? We got it in here.
Yes, the number's going to be on it. So if your number is drawn, then we will go ahead and do that. And then there'll be one. Yes, that's on Instagram. I think on web.
Follow.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to read probably the last 3. So the last 4. The last 4 on this one is 1018. That's you. All right. Thank you very much for the copy. And then I'm going to give you this too. The other thing is too is there's an email on there. Email it with your raffle ticket, and there's going to be another prize that you get after that. So,
sweet, bro. Let's see what you got. Nice.
This one is.
That's what's up. Congrats, man.
1020.
1020? Yeah, there you go. Nice.
I was like salty at
And then
first.
here, grab this one here. There's a business card right here. This has an email on there. Email it with your raffle ticket, and there's going to be some other prizes that you're going to get.
For sure. Just got your okay, cool.
Yeah, everything's on there. Yeah. All right, so 1030. Oh, you did. Okay. 1037.
Oh, the email.
Yes. This is, I should have gotten a bucket. There's one more? Okay. 1006.
Right here.
That's it? All right.
Cool. Thank
I was
you.
gonna stop there, but we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more.
All right.
And then there'll be a few more being given out at the 4 o'clock one too. Like
Cool.
I said, if you guys don't want to stick around for the whole thing, you're welcome to still come back and grab a raffle ticket, get another chance to win.
All right.
1034. There we go. Awesome. So I can't necessarily sell the copies yet. I'm working on that endorsement, but you guys can read the comic online for free.